Good evening, everyone, and welcome to round 5 of the Flat Out E-Racing, sponsored by Decal Labs, DTM Championship. We've had some fantastic racing so far in this championship, and as you can see by the numbers in the top left-hand corners, the grids have filled up. We have no spaces left. Everyone's knocking each other out of the way to come and join us. So we're expecting some really great racing tonight. We've got 2 races for you. We've got a 20-minute race with a qualifying defined grid, and then race 2 will be a 30-minute race that will have a reverse grid, so that usually provides us with a really livened up result. So at the moment we're in the middle of our main qualifying session, which has got just over 7 minutes remaining. So we are just waiting really for the first times to start coming in, as they've already obviously completed an outlap, and we're looking at round about 1 minute 50-ish laps around this circuit. So we are just coming around. Yellow Sausages is the first driver that was out on track, so he's heading round and will be the first one to cross the line. Just to give you a little bit of an update where things are in this championship with regard to, with regard to championship points. Our current championship leader is Stormfly, who is almost a race win in front on 164 points. Timorous is second in 141. Oh, we've got times coming in. Yellow Sausages comes in under 150 at 148.5. On Ford, he's a 147.6. Noddy's mate 151. Dan used one of our quick drivers. He's only popped in there in fourth. Stormfly, he's popped up there in second. It's really tight up the front there at the moment. Cajun 100 148. He's shown some really good pace of recent. Interesting to watch the drivers there that are going through the first chicane, because this, as you can see by Select and FOER, they are using slipstream, or FOER is using slipstream considerably there to try and improve his performance because of the long straights on this circuit. It's really important to try and get all the drag along that you can from a car in front. So the one who has got that best at the moment is Tazos up in front, new driver to the series, just joining us for the first time tonight. He's 0.35 of a second in front of Stormfly, and then it's really tight. He's just 3 100s in front of Panos, who is 4 100s in front of Onford, who is 10 100s in front of Dan. It's really, really tight up the front there, so it's really difficult to know where this is going to shake out. And just remember, we're going into a first race, which is a grid qualifying, so that'll be fastest first. That'll be a 20-minute race, and we're likely to see at least one pit stop, because these drivers have to start on half a tank of fuel. So it's really important for them to work out which strategy is going to work for them. So particularly when this is a fast circuit, it's a bit heavy on fuel. So look at this. Dan is trying to hook onto the back of Tazos here, and has it worked for him? Tazos is down into the 146 as Dan's into the 145.9s, and then immediately hops back to the pits. So that slipstream he got off Tazos really, really worked there. Tazos is going for another run, but this is Paul. Tazos put an even quicker time in, but Dan stealing that slipstream off Tazos has really made a difference. It looks like Stormfly Tazos are all calling it a day there at the moment. We've got 3 minutes 50 to go. Onford looks like he's going for another lap. This circuit in the heart of Italy is inside one of their great parks. As you can see by all, oh, look at that. Oh, Onford going into orbit there. That one really didn't work for him. So we'll hop on. Who's got, oh, Timorous, he's not having a good lap there. He's got a half-second penalty there for track limits. So who else is out there at the moment? Cajun 100, he's currently up there in 7th. So midfield qualifying for him, but now he's being blocked by the cars in front. If this was Formula 1, oh no, look at that, spun right round as Arcadian, and that's probably it for him, unless he gets back to the pit and gets around for a quick restart. So or he's going to go for another lap from there, but he's, oh no, he's blocking Select there. And I think that's R80 in the background there. So Dan is obviously happy with what he's done. He's gone back and sat in the pits on his 145.9. So let's hang on board with Tazos, who is trying to do a Dan and steal slipstream off Onford as they head down towards the Parabolica. Is Tazos going to go out and take a manoeuvre there? No, he's not. He's going to use the slipstream off Onford down the straight. So can he do anything? He's tucked right under the back wing. The Porsche showing itself to be a real popular choice in this series. This is probably Tazos's last chance. No, he hasn't gone any quicker this lap. So he's got really, well, he's got one more chance. Remarkably, traffic seems to be a problem. We've got 15 cars on track. Oh, Deming Calypso's gone a little bit quicker there. He's done a 1:49.3, sub 1. Oh, Panos, he's hopped up there into third with a 1:46.9. But still, the fastest man out there by a long way is Dan, followed by Tazos, who's a half second ahead of Panos. So it's still quite big gaps up the front there as they bump their way through the second chicane up towards Lesmo 1. Oh, Onford's has gone outside track limits. He's got a penalty there, so that's going to wreck his lap. Oh, it looked like he was trying to get out of the way there of Stormfly, and unfortunately Stormfly was trying to go around him at the same time. So Tazos looks like he's trying to get slipstream off Timorous. Two Greek drivers looks like they're working in a team format there. So as they head down towards the Hescari chicane under the bridge with the old track, but no, they're not working in team. Timorous is going for the inside, is he? No. So here we go, down to the Parabolica, probably for the last time. What can these drivers do? Tazos is the one trying to snatch pole position off Dan. HK RT logo on the back of his Porsche there, the Hellenic Knights racing team, which all these Greek drivers seem to be part of. So he seems to have got a good exit there, hasn't run wide onto the curb, heading towards the finish line. And no, he hasn't gone any quicker, so it doesn't look like anybody is particularly going quick here at the moment. Stormfly, he's quite out of position though, fourth. Normally you would expect him to see him up there with Dan right at the front, but that's not working for him at the moment tonight. So we've just got 15 seconds remaining for these drivers to get across the line to start their final attempt at qualifying. So let's just move a little way further down the field, have a quick run down through the drivers. Oh, Cajun 100's gone a bit quicker, he's done a 1:47.7. That's got him up into 8th place. So we'll work down, selecting 9th. I imagine he's going to be a little disappointed with that, because normally I'd expect him to be 4th or 5th. So he's a little bit down there. And then Stu Stoughton, he's down there in 10th. Now, Stu Stoughton had a great win a couple of races ago at Laguna Seca in a second race with a great counter strategy to every other driver. So he's a driver to watch out for, particularly in the reverse grid race. And then we got Noddy's mate, who had a good result last time out, when I remember where the track is. Nope, can't remember where the track is. I'll come back to you on that one. But he had a cracking run last time. Yellow Sausages, relatively newcomer to this series. He's down there in 12th. Technica Racing, now that's there in the Audi TT. He's one of the other commentators here for FOER on our Wednesday night series, the Group 4. He's joined us for like a wild card entry tonight. I had a go at that myself a couple of weeks ago with the Group 4s. Didn't end well. I've decided to go back and pick the mic up again, because that's where my better skills are. And Devlin Calypso there in the Mercedes, he's there in 14th. And finally R80, oh, he's in the pit, so that's his final time decided. So along with Dan, they've called it a day. So I think this is really drivers just winding their way in from their final attempt at qualifying. And in general, they don't seem to have, by the look of it, anybody. Oh, hello, we've got a few who's coming to the line. Onford coming to the line, no quicker. Devin, or Yellow Sausage has gone a bit quicker there, so that's brought him up the order a little bit. So all these drivers will be returning to the pits. And then we'll be starting our first race, which will be a 20-minute race. Drivers will be starting on half a tank of fuel. So expect to see pit stops around about 5 to 7 minutes into the race, and generally they will refuel towards the end, but they also have a choice of tyres, so that could have an effect. And then just running back to the championship, as I mentioned, Stormfly first, Timorous second, Select, who is in third, who is qualified not so well tonight, so a bit surprised there. Lockstech, who's not with us, he's currently in fourth. Chili Bass, who is qualified fourth, He's currently down in 5th in the championship. Stu Stown come on the back of that great win at Laguna Seca. He's 6th. Cajun Hundreds up to 7th. Dan is in 8th, and Panos is in 9th. So it is looking really tight in this championship at the moment, particularly with these faster guys out qualifying Stormfly, which is likely to even things up. So I'm imagining tonight we are going to have quite a battle on our hands between these guys. And we generally get very good, respectful racing from these guys. Now, I've just remembered where we were last week, because I commentated on 2 races and we were at Fuji, and that's where Noddy's mate had his great result. And then next week we're off to Interlagos in Brazil, then Bathurst in Australia, and finally Brantac back in the UK. But here we go. We are ready to go for race 1. 20 minutes, lights the flag, 1 quick pit stop for fuel, maybe a change of tyres. So here we go. Here are the revs, 1 red light. And go with green. Dan gets a really good start there, but the whole field, look, there was a little bit of tyre smoke. Panos also got a good start. He is right on the back wing of Dan's Porsche. Now this is where it gets really tight, down into this tight chicane. Panos goes to the inside. Oh, Stormfly went a bit deep there. It all looks a bit touchy-feely, but it does look like most people got through. I think the one that did drop back there, unfortunately, I think, was Tazos. I think he went wide on the exit of turn 1. I think he got a little bit pushed out. But despite Panos with that launch down the inside, Dan managed to, on the second part of the chicane, get the inside and has got the lead. So we know Dan had very good pace in qualifying, so let's see if that's repeated in the race. Panos is slotted into 2nd, Stormfly up from 5th, he's into 3rd now, so we know he's in the lead of the championship, so he will be keen to move his way forward fairly quick. I see a little bit of dust in the background, but just quickly concentrating on who's where. Yellow Sausages has made a good jump up there as well, and the other one that's made a good move forward on that start is Cajun 100. He's up to 5th, and I think he qualified about 7th, with Stu Stoulton looking like he's trying to go a little bit aggressive as they head down towards the Scari, but Stu Stoulton slotted in behind, and a great start there. Up into 7th place is R80, that's John Riley, who organises events within FOER. So I'm sure he's going to be well chuffed with that, and not far behind him in the chuff states will be Noddy's mate. He's up there in 8th. So there does seem to be quite a gap back. Tenika's got his way up to 9th, but he's coming under pressure from Devon Calypso. I think the drivers that have come unstuck on that first run were the Greek 2 of Chili Bass and Timorous, and also Onford. So I think that was on that first chicane, which it does funnel down and become really tight there. So, but I can see there can be real pace in these Greek drivers, so don't be surprised if they come back with some pace. So moving up the front, Dan, oh, it looks like Panos has made a mistake there somewhere, because he was up. Let's risk a replay, shall we, and see if we can see what happened to Panos a bit further back. It looked like it happened, at least with Yellow Sausages, by Panos into turn 1, because at the Ascari chicane, Panos was right behind Dan. So this is playing very much into Stormfly's hands, because, oh, and we've got another night of the good old spectator system playing up for us. Stormfly has moved his way up to 2nd from qualifying 5th, and as he's leading the championship, he'll find that really important. So let's have a hop up the front, see how they're doing with fuel, because we're on lap 2. So by the look of their fuel, they are going to have to pit by the end of lap 4, which will be about 8 minutes into this race. So they will be out of fuel to the end of the race. But particularly Dan has in the past used fuel stops to his great advantage. So it's worth keeping an eye on what he decides to do. And the one who is further up than I would expect at the moment, particularly Yellow Sausages, he's had a couple of good runs. But tonight he's up there in 3rd. So, and I'm surprised, pace-wise, who's dropped off is Panos. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there, that he was up there right in the front right behind Dan, but has dropped back behind Stormfly and Yellow Sausages and doesn't seem to be able to keep pace with them. So not quite sure what's happened to Panos there. But look at that pack for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Stu Stoughton, Cajun 100 and R80 and Noddy's mate are looking really tight. So let's hop on board with that battle. So here we go. Let's get the time up. Pressing all the wrong buttons here at race control. So Noddy's mate looking down the inside of R80, and he's got the move done at the second chicane. Great move there. Textbook down the inside, slightly later on the brakes. Really tidy mover there. So it'll be interesting to see if Noddy's mate can move a little bit forward. Technica race. He was down, I think, qualifying about 14th. He's up to 9th, so he'll be tough for that. But we know in the background, with just over 15 minutes remaining, the Greeks are coming. So these guys are going to get pressured very, very shortly, and you can see them coming in the background there. So this is going to be a battle in the midfield that is going to develop, and possibly the Greeks can play their great careful usage of fuel and tyres to their advantage. So they may pit slightly different to everyone else. So it looks like R80 is looking to have a comeback at Noddy's mate, who has picked up a penalty, so he's going to have to shed that before the end of the lap. So R80 is going down the inside there, so R80 should get that position back off Noddy's mate, who is going to have to shed that penalty. Oh no, instead they're going for the pits. So these guys are going particularly early. So that's Technica's into the pits, Noddy's mate's in the pit, R80 we know is into the pits already. So the ones that I know aren't going to pit immediately, or I imagine are not, are Chili Bass and Timorous, because they will, I imagine, be trying to go as long as possible. And they are slightly further down the field, so let's see if we can find them. Oh, no, they've already been passed by the look of it. So Chili Bass there in 9th. See, they are already catching Devon Calypso and Select. And Timorous and Tazos. So the Greeks not having a good night here in race 1 at all at the moment. But they've still got nearly 3/4 of the race to try and catch up. But I think Chili Bass is going to have Select. Oh, Chili Bass pulls out to try going on the inside of the first Lesmo, but can't quite do it. He's right on the tail of Select there, who's ghosting out because he's trying to shed that penalty, which he now has. But I think as we come round the corner here on the second Lesmo, as we head down the main straight, the back straight towards Ascari, I think we're going to see Chili Bass possibly dive up the inside of the next left-hand corner. Mind you, he doesn't look quite close enough, does he? He's got to get a bit closer than that. Here we go, on the brakes, can we do it? No. Down to about second gear, cross the curbs. Don't hit those bumps on the inside, they'll send you into orbit. So maybe he can do it now on the way down towards Parabolica. Now, Select and Devon Calypso are having their own little battle, which is meaning Chili Bass is going to struggle to have the space to get by. Now, has Devon Calypso gone a little bit deep here? No, he hasn't. So we're going to just tuck right under the rear wing of that Mercedes in front. Oh, and they're all going for the pits. So I'm surprised that actually they've all gone that early. And it looks like virtually everybody's in the pits already. So who's going to shake out this one in the front? I think it should be Dan in 7th. So there's still two cars on track, but they've both gone for the pits as well. So we're on board with Dan, just coming out of the pit lane, and it's as we were with Dan and Stormfly. However, Panos has jumped Yellow Sausages in that. Oh, and it looks like Dan's gone a bit deep there. He has, and Stormfly nipped through into the lead. That was all Dan's fault. He went deep into the first part of the first chicane, and by the time he was trying to get the steering lock back on to get out of the second left-hander part, Stormfly was through. He did what Max Verstappen couldn't on Lewis Hamilton, but Dan's not giving it up. He's going for the inside at the second chicane, and he's got the move done on the first part. Oh, and he's a bit squirrely on the exit, and in the background we can see Yellow Sausages right on the case of Panos, so it's action happening all over the place. And another one that's done well through that section of pit stops is Cajun 100 and Noddy's mate. They're up to 5th and 6th respectively. So they're going to be quite chuffed with that. So I think this is now a race to the finish. And let's have a look. Yep, they're fueled to the finish. So we've got just under 11 minutes remaining. So I think it's going to be a struggle for the Greek guys that got knocked back at the first corner to get too far back up the field. Let's just see while these two guys are back. No, I'm not going to take my eyes away. I daren't take my eyes. I'm going to have a look back at Yellow Sausages on Panos, because Yellow Sausages has got the move done once already, and I think he's going to have another go at getting the move done now. So we're just coming around the Parabolica, running their way out as wide as possible to that curb to open up the corner as much as they can. I don't think Yellow Sausages is quite close enough to get the manoeuvre done, but he's getting closer. It could be on. The next corner's a tight right-hand here. We're going to get a shoot out and down the inside. And have we got it done? Yes, we have. Fantastic bit of driving there by Yellow Sausages. So that position he lost in the pit stops, he's now got back, and he's back up onto the final step of the podium. So he's now off in hot pursuit of Stormfly and Dan. So let's move our way back to see who's moving where. We've got Cajun 100 in 5th. I'm sure we'll be chuffed for that as a result. He's about 4 seconds behind Panos and about 6 seconds in front of Noddy's mate, who also I think will be pleased with this result. Notice how many of the drivers are using the Porsche, particularly the ones up the front. It seems to be the weapon of choice in this DTM series. In 7th, we've got Select, who looks like he's just about to give some company to Noddy's mate. And coming, as I must say I did predict, is Chili Bass in 8th. Now, the one that is out of position still is Timorous, who is out of the top 10. So we'll catch up with him in a minute. But I think Chili Bass will be moving forward, particularly by Select and Noddy's mate, probably by the end of the race. I would expect him to have that kind of pace. R80 slipped back a bit from where he got up to, but it still looks like he's running a fairly sharp pace there. He's there in 9th at the moment. 10th is Devin Calypso, so that will be a strong finish for him. We're a big field of 15 tonight. I'm sure he's going to be chuffed if he can get it into the top 10, but I think who's coming to spoil that particular party is the trio of Tazos, who was one of our quick qualifiers, who's in 11th, Timorous, who is in 12th, and 13th, who is on Ford. So, who's picked up a penalty, so that's probably not helped his case too much. And then down in 14th is Stu Stoughton. Now, he may be down the 14th in this race, but in the reverse grid, he can sometimes pull a blinder, so he's worth keeping an eye on. And in 15th, and I'm pleased to say, keeping up the performance expected from bit of a sideways move there from Technica, keeping up the performance of wildcard commentators in flat out e-racing at being last. I'm glad to see Technica's in exactly the same place that I was, so it wasn't just me. But I'm sure Jay will use the reverse grid to his advantage for our second race, which will be 30 minutes, and he will be probably on pole position, so I'm sure will take as big an advantage of that as he can. So back up the front, Dan is now pulling a gap on Stormfly. He's now, after that little battle after the pit stops, got a 2.5 second gap. So I think unless something dramatic happens, and we'll just have a quick tyre check to see what they're running. Well, this is Dan, and he's on the Super Softs, and in second is Stormfly, and he's also on the Super Softs. So we've got no difference on the tyre strategy, which could mean that one of them would have faster tyres towards the end. Any of those of you that watched the Formula 1 Fast today would know what effect that having good soft sticky tyres can have if the organisers are trying to facilitate the particular winner to a race series. But obviously that's my own individual opinion and nothing to do with flat out e-racing. So let's have a look. Who have we got moves and shakers? Panos is now gapped. Oh dear, we lost Stu Stoughton. He was up there in 14th, so hopefully he'll rejoin us for the second race. So Stormfly there in second. He's got a 4-second gap on Yellow Sausages now, with just over 6 minutes remaining. But it looks like Panos hasn't quite given up wanting that final step of the podium, because he is now giving some hot pursuit to Yellow Sausages, and I know, and then he gets a penalty for his trouble. But I know the Greek teams can be really gentle on their tyres, so if Yellow Sausages, and we can have a look on board and find out if he's wearing his tyres too much, and if I look at that, that's Yellow Sausages tyres, and that is Panos' tyres, and they're very similar, so that shouldn't really come into play. But Panos is definitely looking quite racy behind Yellow Sausages there. Well, I'll keep half an eye on that battle, but I'm going to pop back to 8th, because I think Chili Bass has just made a move on R80. They're coming around the second Lesmo, and it looks like R80 made a bit of a mistake there, and Chili Bass, no, R80's coming back at it. I thought we got the move done, but R80's going for a bit of slipstream to try and get a draft into the Ascari chicane, but it really just didn't unfortunately work for him. So unfortunately that seems to be that for Chili Bass against R80. So Chili Bass is, oh dear, let's get the right view on screen. Chili Bass's next attack victim is Select in 7th, and with 4 minutes remaining means he's got he's got 3 laps to do it. So Select and Noddy's mate could be possible targets for him, but I'm sure that the combination of Cajun 100 in 5th and Noddy's mate in 6th are going to be quite chuffed with that. And watching Chili Bass's car go by there, just a quick shout out to our sponsors, Decal Labs. You can see their logo big on the door of that Mercedes. They are great guys. They're involved in BTCC, I believe, with Team Hard. And anybody who saw the Guy Martin program last week would know that he was involved with Team Hard in a different series on a racing adventure of his. So these are guys that do get serious. They're on BTCC cars, so if you want livery for your own car or anything else, they are the guys. Give them a quick Google, tell them flat out E-Racing sent you along, and that would be appreciated on all fronts. So back quickly to the racing. We are spreading out quite generally, but I think the one that has been completely missed by me, because I was plugging our sponsor, is the fact that Panos has got back by Yellow Sausages and gapped in quite well. So I would imagine Yellow Sausages had made a mistake there. So unfortunately, I do apologise, I missed that one. We'll move back slightly because I think we've got a little battle going on. Oh, hello. Noddy's mates had to go to the pits again, unfortunately. Now, maybe he short-fueled earlier. I don't think that as a strategy is going to work for him, I'm afraid. He's coming back. Is this just a quick fuel stop? Yes, it looks like it is. No tyre change, but that time in the pit lane is going to cost him. But where is he going to come out? He's come out in 11th. So it's not completely terrible. He's still reasonably up there in the field, but slightly unfortunate for him there that he dropped away on there. The winner in that, of course, is Select and Chili Bass, who have gained a position because of Noddy's mate having to pit there. So we've got just over 2 minutes remaining, so the next lap will be the last one. So Cajun 100 up there, they're really solid 5th, so he is going to be chuffed with that one, I think. Has had some good runs earlier in the season, but then generally tend to have a little mistake. But now he does seem to have got that full-length race consistency, which is also known as a commentator's curse, as he's probably going to throw it in the gravel trap at the next corner because of my compliments there. So, but no, he's through Ascari, and he's not that far behind Panos and Yellow Sausages. So there's some real pace that Cajun 100 is finding in that Mercedes there. So I think he'll be quite chuffed with that one. So back to Select. Now he's coming under pressure from Chili Bass and in the background there, not far away, is Tazos. So I'm going to stay with these guys, because I think this is where the action is going to happen. So Select there in the BMW, and then the Mercedes of Chili Bass is hunting him down, and then the Porsche of Tazos a little bit further behind. So this is it. I think this is going to be the final lap. So can Chili Bass get close enough to do anything about Select? Just got one lap of this Monza circuit to find out. So through this chicane, Select looked a little bit loose coming out of the exit there, but it doesn't seem to be a gap that's closing up dramatically. So whether, I think this is going to come down to probably the parabolica on the last corner, because I don't see the guys behind getting that much closer. And in fact, Select has put in his fastest first sector there, so he's certainly not losing pace. And in fact, the one that's coming on the attack looks like Tazos, the red Porsche, the third of this group, who looks like he is getting awfully close to his fellow countryman Chili Bass. So I think there's more likely to be a change for 7th place rather than 6th. So Tazos is getting into the slipstream, and when the cameraman catches up, off Chili Bass. So as they head down Ascari, yep, Tazos pulls out. He's going for the inside at the first left-hander. Yep, he's got the move done. He crosses the curb, but I don't think he'll get a penalty for that one. So can Chili Bass do anything back? No, he can't, because he's run wide himself, and he needs to drop that penalty. So already Dan has crossed the finishing line. Stormfly second. Panos there comes across in third, now with nearly a 2-second gap to Yellow Sausages, and then Cajun 100 is the next across the line. So in 6th it's Select. Oh, we've just gone horribly wrong there, I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. So 6th is Select, 7th is Tazos, 8th is Chili Bass. So 9th is going to be Devlin Calypso. That's one of his best results. I think he'll be chuffed up there in the top 10. Noddy's mate got back up to 10th. He came out behind Timorous, so he made a good recovery there from having to be the only 2-stop. And it looks like Timorous has made a mistake with his fuel as he rolls literally across the line on the vapours. So On4 didn't quite get to him. And then in 13th we've got 13th, last of the on-lap runners is R80, and then in 14th is Technica. So quite a race there for race 1. So Dan, one of our quick drivers, again thanks the win from the third race. He lost out a couple last week at Fuji. He got slipstreamed across the line twice by Stormfly. So he will be quite chuffed to get his own back on that one. So drivers just congratulating each other. We'll just have a quick look at the result for you. So there we go. Dan in first place, and also took the fastest lap with 1:47.1, and then Stormfly second, and Panos on the final step of the podium. Yellow Sausages just got taken by Panos later in the race there. I think perhaps Panos looked after his tyres a little bit better. Cajun 100 there up in the Mercedes with a great result in 5th. Select, not the greatest qualifying, but got his way up to 6th. Tazos in 7th, Chili Bass in 8th. They both recovered from first lap incident at the chicane. Devlin Calypso, a great result there for him in 9th. Noddy's mate in 10th. Unfortunately had to have that second pit stop. And then Timorous in 11th, who ran out of fuel as he crossed the line. On4 again, another driver that lost out from that first lap incident. And R80 in 13th, and Technica in 14th. And unfortunately lost Stu Stoughton during that race. So, and it looks like we've lost Technica as well. So it may be a result he felt he may not have been quite on the pace there. So unfortunately he's left us. We've still got 13 drivers for the second race, which will be a reverse grid. So the fastest from the first race will be at the back. And not only that, the top 6 from the first race will have to start on the medium tyre. Now, the effect that will have is that they will have less grip up until their first pit stop. Now, sometimes the drivers run with it and decide to do a normal first stint, and other drivers decide to get off those tyres as quick as possible and go for the softer, grippier tyres and try and make up the difference. So this second 30-minute race really does throw the cat amongst the pigeons with different levels of grip, and you can see out there at the moment is Timorous already practicing out for this second race, and the other one is Stormfly, who will be on the medium tyre, and we'll be trying to get a feel for those to see what kind of grip level he has, at least for the start of the race, and hopefully this time we'll get a clean start. Unfortunately, that really tight chicane does tend to bunch the pack up, and we've got the added factor this time that the slower drivers at the front will mean that it will likely get compressed as we go to the first corner. So all depends on what kind of start they get from the grid. Dan is having to hop off for a minute. I imagine that is possibly for a natural break. So let's just have a quick look and tell you what we've got happening with regard to future races. And well, let's just recover where we have been this season. So this championship is an 8-round series. We started off at Circuit de la Sarthe, which people will know better as the Le Mans circuit. Then we moved to a GT Sport specific track, which is Circuit Saint-Croix in France, which is a road circuit, and that caught a few people out because the barriers really line the roads, and it means any slight mistake and you're in the barriers and you're paying for it in terms of damage. Third, we went to Laguna Seca in America, which produced that great second race result for Stu Stoughton, where he managed to win from the reverse grid with a single stop strategy, which caught a lot of people out, including the commentator. And then last week we were at Fuji, obviously this week we're at Monza, and the last 3 rounds we're off to Interlagos in Brazil, and then Bathurst in Australia, which produces some great racing. We've got the flat out sections up and down the hill, and then the really tricky sections over the top with walls right alongside the track, so any small mistake you tend to pay a big price. And then finally we're back to the UK with the great Brantac Grand Prix circuit. So we will hopefully have some absolutely fantastic racing for the rest of this series. As you can see, we've got nearly full grids for this championship, and so if you want to get involved, opportunities do come up. So if you want to get onto Facebook, search Flat Out E Racing. The group will come up. Hop on there, join the group. The guys are really friendly. There's guys, John, Kevin, and Neil will answer any questions you want to know, get you into the chats for the individual series. So if you want to get into the championship ready for next time round, this is a great time to do it. We hold 2 main championships. We've got this one on a Saturday night. Saturday night. Wish I'm a week away. We've got this series on a Sunday night at 9 PM with the 2 races that you've got in front of you today. And then on a Wednesday night we have the GT4 Championship, which also produces great racing. That's 2 20-minute races, and my great colleague Jay, he commentates on that one, so you get live commentary as well on either of these championships, and they all get streamed onto the Flat Out E-Racing YouTube channel, and we're getting more and more subscribers on that. And hopefully if you're watching tonight, you are guys that are going to click on that like and subscribe button underneath and tell us exactly what you feel about us, and hopefully you'll say some good things below it as well, which is what we all like to see. So let's see what we've got going on tonight. Have we got anything in live chat? Absolutely nothing in live chat tonight. Come on guys, we want to hear from you. Who do you think's going to win the second race? it's a reverse grid. We're going to have a couple of the Greek drivers who normally do well in the first race. They're going to be close to the front in the second race. So I think a Chili Bass or a Timorous is going to be a good bet. Possibly a Tazos. I think... where am I going to put my money? I'm going to put my money on HKRT Tazos, because I think that's where we are going to be for he was one of the quick drivers in the first race. Oh, sorry, in qualifying. So I think he is going to be a guy that we are going to find really have some performance. So we're getting some comments in at last. Stormfly's complimenting the commentary, so you'll always get a good plug from me if you do that. So I did mention Max Verstappen for the championship. I'm not quite sure that the FIA cover themselves in glory. I think it's good that the championships were shared. I think it was good. They were both fantastic drivers. They both drove a fantastic season. I think we just need to move where the stewards aren't getting involved in every single thing, and you haven't got Christian or Toto on the phone moaning about this, that and the other, and hopefully not influencing decisions like it possibly appeared that it did. I think the decision at the end of the race to put it under a safety car was a big mistake. I think it should have been red flagged and restarted with everybody on the level playing field. So I think that was a big disappointment to me. But, you know, racing's racing. So, oh, there we get the comments. I've woken everybody up. Oh, Dan is voting for Dan to win. That's the Dan TGT Self Appreciation Society coming through there. Stormfly, yes, the smiley face, yes, I have mentioned Max Verstappen as world champion, subject to 48 different appeals by our friends at Mercedes. And Danfield Hamilton got robbed, so I've sensed a fallout. But here we go, race 2, reverse grid. Look at this, look at these names we've got up the front. Timorous, Onford, these are guys who are really quick, so this is going to be one to watch. So we've dropped a few numbers on this, but we've still got, I think, 12 cars on track, and we're off. It's green for go. Oh, someone looked like they were pulling out wide there. I don't know who that was. But here we go, first corner. Let's take it gentle, guys. Let's take it gentle. So, Onford to the outside, Timorous on the inside. It looks like he's bunching up a little bit further back. A couple of cars bumping across the curbs, but it looks like we've got away a bit cleaner than we did last time. How has Tazos got on this time? Let's hope he's not come unstuck. It looks like possibly he has. I can't see where that red Porsche of his is, but here we go. Chili Bass is up to third, with Devlin Calypso looking quite racy behind him, and also Noddy's mate coming down the inside for the second chicane. Has he got the move done? No. Devlin's gone a little bit deep. Everybody keeps in between the white lines and doesn't force anybody off, but we won't mention that. So moving slightly further back, Stormfly is already up to 7th. Panos is in 8th, so those two are already moving forward. And K109 and Tazos, unfortunately, is down to 10th. So my bet for the second race really hasn't worked out on that particular one. So we'll move back up to the front. Onford is out into the lead, but he's got the close attentions of Timorous as we head in towards oh, that looks a bit touchy-feely there. But it looks like, oh no, it looks like Timorous unfortunately came off worse there, and the one that's really getting racy now is Chili Bass. So that was a little bit tight there, I think, on Ford. I think he possibly compromised Timorous's line into the corner there, and that's cost Timorous because he's had to drop back to drop that penalty. So, but these guys have got a little bit of a gap at the moment, and that's going to. But that penalty of Timorous is going to cost him all the way down the main straight, as you can see. It looks like he's suddenly getting close attention from Devlin Calypso, who's showing some real pace, and he's being coming under attack though from Yellow Sausages as we head to the first chicane. Can Yellow Sausages get it on the brakes? No, Devlin Calypso's going defensive. He's got it on the first part, and on the second part, no, they're nice and clean there. Let's see what's happening a little bit further down. Stormfly is up to 7th, looking quite close behind Noddy's mate. Panos is in 8th. Dan is only up to 9th at the moment. We've still got a long, long race to go. Looks like Dan can't make forward movement through the field. Oh, Stormfly, look, he went for a dive there on Noddy's mate. It just didn't work though, and Panos nearly picked up the bits there. So Dan, that's brought him closer as well now. So this battle here is looking quite racy between these faster guys in the midfield, and this is what we like to see. So here we got Noddy's mate in 6th, gapped Stormfly a little bit following that lunge of Stormfly at the second chicane, but Panos and Dan are right behind Stormfly as they head down towards Ascari. I don't know which way this is going to go. These guys need to keep it clean. Damage is on, so they can't afford anything that will slow them down or cause them to pit. So here we go. Dan's got, looks like he's got a good exit from Ascari, so we'll move back to him in 9th because he's looking right tight behind Panos. Can he get anything done? Oh, and in the front, Stormfly's going down the inside of Noddy's mate into the parabolic. He's got that move done. Dan couldn't do anything about Panos. But up front, things have changed very quickly because Chili Back, oh, hello. And Panos has gone for the pits as well. So there seems to be a move here for the Greeks are going for an early pit stop to get themselves, after 2 laps, off those slower tyres. But the one who isn't, interestingly, because he's on a quicker tyre, is Timorous. Because him, Timorous and Onford were at the back on the first race, so they're able to choose the stickier tyres. So this is a race I think he's going to come gently to the boil towards the end. Well, let's certainly hope so. Now, the one who's having a race of his life at the moment is Devlin Calypso. They're in 3rd place, but he's coming under attack from Yellow Sausages. But Devlin is holding on to that 3rd position. So, long way to go, but he's in a podium position as we stand at the moment. So, where has Tazos is up to 8th. I'm not sure which tyre he started on, but I'll go to check that in a minute. We've got battles all over the place, don't know where to look. So Noddy's mate got passed by Stormfly at the parabolic we saw last night, and then Chili Bass went off, Tazos went off for the pits. No, Chili Bass, I got that wrong again. And Dan is working his way up towards Noddy's mate, but the problem Dan's got, overall, don't take this the wrong way, Noddy's mate, he's a faster driver than Noddy's mate, but Dan hasn't got the quick tyres on, so that's causing him a struggle in performance. And Yellow Sausages has fallen back in the clutches of Stormfly a little bit further up, you can see, because he's got that red penalty time across him. So here we go. Is Dan going to do anything at the Parabolica? No, he isn't. So Yellow Sausages dropped back behind Stormfly, so Dan knows his main competitor probably is Stormfly, and Yellow Sausages looks like he's back there again, so I don't know if he's quite got rid of all that penalty. And so Noddy's mate is back through to 4th, Dan is in there to 5th, but I think Dan's going to go for the move at the first corner. It's Porsche versus Porsche versus Porsche. Here we go. No, Dan can't get anything done on Noddy's mate, and Noddy's mate, with Timorous going for the pits there, has got himself up to 4th. So this is all going to go topsy-turvy as we go through the pit stop section of this race. So we've got just under 24 minutes to go. Dan looks like he's really struggling on pace on those medium tyres. So I think if he stays out too long, I think this is going to punish him, because he's just going to lose so much performance. But here he goes, up the inside, Lesmo 1. Can he get the move done? He got a better exit from the second chicane. Yep, and he's through. So the next one coming along is Yellow Sausages. So Dan's got that move done. So that gets him through to 4th on the road. But I think we are not quite sure what everyone's going to shake out now. Noddy's mate going defensive on Yellow Sausages as they head up towards Ascari. Is Noddy's mate going to be able to hang on to it? Let's get a better camera angle. Noddy's mate takes the inside. He got the high ground, so he hangs on for that 5th place. Let's have a look with his onboard dash. Oh, he is definitely going to have to go for the pits this lap, because he is down to the vapours. So he's going to be having really real fuel stop anxiety. So he's definitely going to go for the pits. So I think Onford and Devlin Calypso, yeah. Devlin Calypso trying to nudge in front of Stormfly. Cheeky little manoeuvre there. So Dan's into the pit as well. Noddy's mate into the pits. On forward into the pits. Chili Bass. So he's the first of those that have actually pitted. So he's got 3/4 of a tank. And I think, let's just go back on board with his data. Yeah, he's on the Super Soft. So has Chili Bass early pit stop made it work? So he's coming up. He pitted at the end of the second lap. We're now into lap 5. And yes, it has. Chili Bass has taken the lead. And what about Timorous? Timorous is in second place. Yep, it's definitely worked out for the Greeks there. Whether they're going to have to pit again, I don't know. But at the moment, they've definitely got track position. And on forward, another driver that started well up the front from the reverse grid is up there in third. Panos up there in fourth. And Dan has shaken out from that first round of pit stops in fifth. So the one that has lost out is Stormfly. But let's hop on board with Dan because he has a habit sometimes of short fueling. So let's see what his onboard data does. So he's got 3/4 of the tank. Yes, Stormfly's got a full tank. So this is where this second 30-minute race can get quite lively because Dan may have to ease the fuel out to get to the end. And Stormfly can go absolutely flat chat, I think, now from here to the end of the race. So this could get quite exciting. And talking of exciting, we've got Panos on forward. Here we go, down to Ascari. It looks like Panos came out but couldn't quite get the move. He's having another go. Is he going to do it on the brakes? No. Cross into Ascari, and on forward has got the run, but he's looking a bit squirrely on the exit. And Panos looks like he's got a good run. No, he couldn't quite make it work. But he's back in the slipstream, and Dan is the one coming. He's now on the faster super soft tyre, and he's gapped Stormfly. So here we go into the Parabolica. Can Panos get it done? Yes, he has. He's down the inside. Now it's up to Dan. Can he do anything? On forward's line was compromised through Parabolica, and now Dan has got the better exit, and he's heading down the main straight, absolutely flat out, right on the tail of on forward. Can he get anything done into the first corner? No, it looks like Panos has gone defensive. On forward looked like he's trying to go right round the outside. He's trying to do a Max Verstappen, but he can't quite make it work. Panos gave him space, and here we go. Looks like Dan got the better exit from that first chicane. Can he get through the inside of Grand Curve? No. Now the next corner is a left-right chicane. So I imagine on forward will go to the left. Can Dan do anything round the outside? No, on forward's going for the inside on Panos. But it all got a bit bumpy across the curves there, but they all still point in the right direction. But this is a really, really tight battle here for third. Stormfly catching in the background. Dan's now got through the inside at Lesmo 1. Fantastic manoeuvre. Can he hang on to it? Lesmo 2? Yes, he's got it done. So, Dan is on his way. He's up to fourth, but out in front by a long way. Now we're going to hang on to this for a minute because I think on forward's going to come back, maybe have another go at Dan. I think if these Panos and Dan can get a good run here through Ascari, they might just gap on forward that little bit. Yes, I think they have. But the one that did get a good run is through there is Dan in fourth. Look at that, right under the rear wing of that Mercedes of Panos. Here we go down to the Parabolica. Dan going to go for the inside? No, he's decided better of it. But on forwards, he's making a comeback. But he wasn't quite close enough to make it happen. It now looks like Dan is being held up by Panos, so he needs to get by Panos sooner rather than later. So here we go, down the main straight. Dan has pulled out already. He's halfway alongside. He's the whole way alongside. It's all going to be about the braking and the first corner. On forward's coming up to join the party as well. They're going side by side. Their positions change backwards and forwards, but Dan has got the move done. Great driving there by both him and Panos. So Dan will now be on his way after Timorous, who's 4 seconds up the track, unless Panos can do something about it and come back at him as they come up to the second chicane. Dan lets his car drift over to the left-hand side of the track to protect the inside line up to the chicane. gets the move done, just neatly jumps those curbs. Now on Ford's coming into play on the back of Panos, and the one who's also not far away is Stormfly. And we know Stormfly is not shy of having a bit of a go when it comes to getting the slipstream off somebody else. So he's really coming up onto the back of onto the back, of Onford and Panos. So I think I'm just going to keep an eye on Stormfly, because I think that's not going to be long before he is having a go at Onford. But Dan's still having to play a little bit of a defensive game from Panos, and it's not really making any inroads into Chili Bass and Timorous. We'll just hop out the front, see what the gap's like. No, it looks like Chili Bass, subject to any problems, has got this one in the bag. We'll just hop on board, see what he's doing on Phil. Oh, I don't know. I think the bag might have a hole in it, because he's only got a third of a tank left, and I don't think that's enough to get him to the end of the race. So I think the two Greek drivers of Chili Bass and Timorous have gone for track position, but they are going to have a second stop. So they pitted at the end of the second lap. I'm not sure that's the right strategy. We'll see how it works later on. They will have fresher tyres later on, but they will have some time to make up. So they're going a bit quicker at the moment because they're running less fuel and therefore less weight. So moving back, Stormfly's already done the move on Onford. So I predicted it, but unfortunately didn't catch on camera, because Stormfly got that one done quicker than I expected. I would imagine that was probably into the first chicane. Oh, Onford's just gone a little bit deep on his tyres there, and now he's falling back a little bit. So the next move forward is probably going to be Stormfly on Panos, because he's got 1.2 seconds to catch up. And also looking forward, it looks like Panos is not overly losing on Dan, but it doesn't seem to be getting that racy feel of being under the rear wing of Dan and giving him some hassle. So I think the next battle will be Stormfly catching Panos. So we'll move back slightly down. Yellow Sausage was quite well up there early on, and was having some good battles, but seemed to lose out through that pit stop phase. So he's currently in 7th, but again having a cracking race and really getting on the pace is Devlin Calypso. He's up there in 8th, and if he holds on to that, I believe that will be his best finish in flat out e-racing. And then in 9th we've got Noddy's mate, who's in a fairly safe position at the moment. He's not far behind Devlin Calypso, so he might be able to do something about that. But he's way in front of Select, who's 13 seconds back in his BMW, and looks like he's about to come under the attention of Cajun in 11th, who doesn't quite seem to have had the performance he had in the first race. Now, he obviously had a good result in the first race, but dropped back to the back of the field because of the reverse grid, so doesn't seem to be able to make his way forward. And pressing the wrong button there. And Tazos in 12th. Now, not quite sure what's happened there with him, because on the reverse grid he was sort of towards the front. I think he pitted quite early from memory, and that hasn't quite worked out for him at all. Whether he had some form of incident, but that means he's 46 seconds off the other Greek guys at the front. So I think that's down to more than just strategy that's put him back there. So let's move back up the front, see who's doing what. Well, Chili Bass's lead has dropped a little bit. He was 5 seconds, it's now 4. And the one that is coming under attack, I think, in the next lap or two is going to be Timorous, because that gap to Dan, I think, was about 4 seconds a couple of laps ago, but now it's down to just on 2 seconds. So I think that is possibly not going to work out for Timorous there, because I don't think Dan is going to have to pit again. Whereas I believe Timorous, and I was proved absolutely correct, Timorous and as Chili Bass has pitted. He'll come out for a fresh set of Super Soft. Panos has pitted as well. Oh, and Dan has pitted. I thought he was going for a single stopper. I got that wrong. I've got it wrong. So let's have a look on board with Timorous, when I press all the right buttons. Yeah, he is going to have to pit probably within the next lap or two. So I don't see that's going to work overly for him. But the one that might work, because we haven't checked on his fuel strategy, is Stormfly. He's got... No, he's going to have to go for a splash and dash. Got quarter of a tank, and I think that gives you around about 3 laps maybe on a good day. So he is going to have to pit again, but it is literally going to be for a splash and dash. So where has this brought out the drivers further down, and who have we got movers and shakers? Chili Bass has come out in front of Dan. So Dan has gone for a quick splash towards the end. Let me see if he put fresh tyres on. Yes, he did. So, and he's got a full tank. So I didn't think it needed a full tank to get to the end of this race, but I may be about to be proved wrong. So looks like the drivers are all going to have to second stop. So it's just a case of when and the length of time they will have to fill. Now, tyre changing is a fixed time, whereas the fuel is the variable. So if drivers can work it so they don't have to put quite so much in, which Timorous will be in that element, because he's going that much deeper into the race. And just as I mentioned it, Timorous is into the pits. So, but Stormfly looks like he's going for another lap. So on Ford, I think we'll have to go for the pits at the next lap as well. So this is where we're going to start to see what is probably our final order start to shake together. Now it's interesting, the fastest lap at the moment is actually very similar to our race 1 pace, but it's actually down by Tazos, who's down in Panos, who's down in 9th. So Timorous is coming out of the pit at the moment, and he is shaking out in 7th. No, he's shaking out in 8th because he's just got taken by Dan at the first corner. So Timorous was a fraction too long in the pits there. So that's not really worked out for him. But I think all the drivers in front of Chili Bass have to pit. So I think the battle for the win at the moment is between Chili Bass and Dan. It's just a case of whether Dan can catch Chili Bass before the end of the race. And that 4.5 second gap, I think, is a big ask. Not impossible, but I think it's a big ask. Right, let's just have a look at tyres between those two guys, because Dan is on the Racing Super Soft, and in 6th, Chili Bass is also on the Racing Super Soft, and they're also carrying similar fuel loads. So I don't think there's going to be any advantage, particularly for Dan, but let's keep an eye on the gap. 4.2 seconds at the moment. So I think we'll hop up to the front, because I think we're about to see the final pit stoppers start to come in, and I think they're all going to start streaming in behind Stormfly. So let's have a look. Here we go. Yes, Stormfly's into the pit on Ford. Now, unless I got this horribly wrong, I think, yep, he's going to have to head for the pits. Yellow sausages. Yep, into the pits. Devlin Clipser, has he pulled something out of the bag? Can he go for another lap? No, he's into the pits. Noddy's mate. Are we going to see the same story all over again? Yeah, they're all on a bit of a fixed strategy there. And here he goes. Chili Bass coming by to pick up the lead. So Dan will be second and Timorous will be third. So that has worked out reasonably well for those guys. Panos coming through in 6th. So on Ford had gone into the pits. So how's that? Well, let's have a look. No, I think Panos should be a little bit further up than that one. Let's have a look. Panos. Ah, that was what the problem was. Panos came out, by the looks of it. Let's just have a risk on a replay here. Yeah, so Panos came out, and it was Stormfly and Onford came out of the pit. Panos was on the track, and Stormfly and Onford came out each side of him, which is what cost him the problem of trying to get back. Just reset so we can get the view, and that's the problem that caused Panos to end up between Stormfly and Onford. So that's going to produce us a nice little battle as we go forward. Let's quick look at the YouTube chat. No, we've got nothing really going on there at the minute. So let's have a look at that gap up the front. Oh no, we won't. Look how close these four are. So Dan and Chili Bass are up the front having their own little battle, but we've got Panos on, Timorous, Stormfly, Panos and Onford all really close together here. And to be honest, you look up front, Dan and Chili Bass aren't that much further up the track, so the field really isn't spreading out. So it's not like Formula One where we need a safety car to come up to punch the field up to get people further down the field to have a better chance of winning. We've got just under 7 minutes remaining, and we've got Stormfly, by the look of it, having a look down the inside of Timorous, and that's got him onto the final step of the podium. So he's just now around about 3 seconds behind Dan in second. We can see Dan not far up the road there, and it looks like Stormfly has got more pace. Also looks like it's got more pace. He's possibly Onford on the back of Panos here. So Onford looking quite racy up the front here. Panos going defensive as going towards the second chicane, forcing Onford to go the long way round, which he can't do because it's just too far to try it round there. Both jumping those sleeping policeman curbs, which you just have to be careful not to do too much because it'll just launch you across the track and into the gravel, which Onford nearly did there out of the first Lesmo. So that's costing quite a bit of time there. So let's hop out the front and see what's happening. And what's happening is Chili Bass is coming under attack from Dan, because that gap was, I believe, 4.2 seconds about 2 laps ago. It's now just under 1.5. So we've got under 6 minutes remaining, which is about 3 laps. So this one is still all to play for. You can see the field in the background there. The top 6 are really close. So I'm going to rely on Dan not overtaking Chili Bass for a lap or 2, and I'm just going to nip down to the guys a little bit further down. We've got Devlin Calypso, who was well up there for a while, but seemed to lose out through the second phase of pit stops. But he's still in sight of everyone from 7th place forward. You can see him in the distance there, so I think he's going to be chuffed with 8th place. Noddy's mate also having a good run there in the Porsche. He's there in 9th. Select. Looks like the BMW's not suiting Monza tonight, because normally Select is a little bit further up the field than where he is down there in 10th. So I'm quite surprised by that. Got a bit of a battle going on there in 11th. Tazos, who was one of our quick qualifiers, is in 12th and coming up to give a hard time to Cajun 100 in 11th. Cajun, who I think finished 5th in the first race, and Tazos was down about 8th, but unfortunately he had an off at the first corner. But just shows how close and competitive this series is, because you know, one small mistake on a 30-minute race and you just can't get the time back. So it just shows how competitive we are here at Flat Out E-Racing. So I'm going to keep a gentle eye on those two, but I want to look forward to see where the battle is for the lead. And let's see what sort of lap times are these guys putting in. We get 1:48.7s there from Chili Bass, and we've done a 1:47.0 a lap ago, but 1:48.2. So there's definitely more pace in Dan than what there is in Chili Bass. And look at that, the gap's coming down. It's just 0.1 of a second. Is Dan going to do the move now? No, or is he going to wait to the first chicane? I think he's going to wait for the first chicane for this one, because this is the Parabolica. Starts tight, opens up, trying to use all that curve on the left hand side to open the corner as much as you can. So 1:47.5 by Dan there, another quick lap. So is he going to go for the inside at the first chicane? Looks like that Mercedes is just pulling away slightly at the top end speed. It means Dan can't quite get close enough. So can he do anything on the way to the second, the first chicane? So that's Chili Bass in lead in the black Mercedes, and you got in the Kit Kat Porsche is Dan. Is Chili Bass going to go defensive? No, he's sticking to the right hand side of the track. And no, it's line of stern through there, so no change to positions at that point. So round the first Lesmo, second Lesmo coming up. Now this is a chance for Dan to get really close on the exit of this corner and get a good run down towards the Ascari chicane, but it looks like he can't quite get close enough. You see the battle in the background for third, fourth, fifth, and it looked like Panos made a bit of a mistake there coming out, so he's going to possibly fall into the clutches of Onford there, but we're going to stick with the battle for the lead for now. Dan is definitely having his lap time compromised, because just at the second sector there he's already 1.6 seconds slower than his fastest lap, so he's definitely faster than Chili Bass. He just can't find a way around that Mercedes at the moment. So here we go, round the parabolic to complete another lap. So this is going to be the last lap. So it's all or nothing now for Dan. So he's looking quite racy down the main straight. It just seems that the Mercedes has a little bit more top end speed. So, but here we go, Dan's pulling out the slipstream. He's going for the inside. He's halfway along. He's the whole way along. Can he get it done on the brakes? He's already in front before they got to the apex. Fantastic move there by Dan. Last lap. And he snatched the lead. Chili Bass had one hand clutching the trophy, but unfortunately, unfortunately for Chili Bass, Dan has smacked his hand and taken that trophy away from him. In third, we've got Stormflight. Good recovery drive there, having to start from the back due to the reverse grid. Fourth was Timorous. Let's try a slightly different strategy there, but didn't quite work out. And then in fifth is Panos. Now, Panos looks like he's got more pace than Timorous. So I think this is yet to be decided for the fourth place at the moment, but these two racing is giving Stormfly the chance to get away. So we've just got 35 seconds remaining on the clock, so this is definitely the last lap. So can Panos do anything about Timorous as we head down to the Ascari chicane? It's just so close up the front. Panos in fifth is just 4.2 seconds off the leader. What fantastic racing. So Panos has really got one last chance, and that is going to be onto the brakes into the Parabolica right-hander that they're coming up to now. So Panos is trying to get in the slipstream to get as close as possible with Timorous. Here he goes, he's going to pull out to the right. Can he get it done? No, he can't. So that's, I would say, his last chance gone. There goes Dan. He's pulled out 1.1 seconds already on Timorous in just that one final lap. So great drive there by Dan. So he gets the win there. Second is Chili Bass. Third is Stormflight. And, who's going to get? And fourth and fifth is Timorous and Panos. And then in sixth place is Onford, just coming across the line there. Yellow Sausages, solid performance there in seventh. He's coming up to the line there. Devlin Calypso, I think he'll be chuffed for that one. He had his best result, I think, last race with a ninth. And this race he's bettered it. He's up to eighth. Noddy's mates had a couple of nice solid performances tonight in the Durex Porsche, coming up to the finishing line to complete that there. Cajun 100, he made his way forward along with Tazos, so it looks like Select must have had a problem. I think he may have been low on fuel, so what a race that was. We went backwards and forwards, and then there was that fantastic last lap manoeuvre by Dan into the first change, snatched the win to Chili Bass. So what absolute great racing. So thanks again to our sponsor Decal Labs. So anything you want done livery wise, decals, stickers, want to make your car look like something out of British touring cars, they are the guy to speak to. So give them a quick Google. That would be great if you could support them. And just a reminder, Wednesday night 8 PM UK time, we'll have the Group 4 racing out, and that will be commentated on by my great colleague Jay. And then we'll be back here again next week for the next round of the DTM Championship, and we will be going off to the fabulous Interlagos circuit in Brazil. Yes, I had forgotten it. I do apologise. I had Bathurst in my head because I'm just so looking forward to that race, because that's a brilliant one. So in the meantime, keep safe, look after yourself, get those jabs in your arms, and we will see you again soon.